need to know you're the only one. Alright, alright. And you need to know that you keep me up all night, all night. Oh, my heart hurts so good, but I love you, babe, so bad, so bad. Yeah, my heart hurts so good, I love you, babe, so bad, so bad.
All right, welcome back to Morning Coffee with Rick Alexander. Today I want to talk to you about an ability that has been lost in our culture, and I think if you were able to figure it out and find it, it would dramatically change your life. But first we got to set the scene a little bit. So in 2018, heading into 2019, we all live in a environment where, well, it's the information age. And so we have tons of inputs and tons of ways to gain information about the world around us. Now, whether that information is substantial or correct or good or fake news, then I think that's a different argument. But the fact is that we have the opportunity to learn about anything. One of the inherent unfortunate side effects of the information age is it's made us a little bit intellectually lazy. We don't have to think as hard for solutions because we can Google damn near anything and get the answers. We don't actually have to wonder anymore about how we think about any one thing. But I would argue that even that is okay as long as you still are taking the time to think through some of the deeper meanings of your life or deeper topics. But what I wanted to address today is the fact that there are so many inputs and there are so many things that can occupy your time that I think the most valuable thing that you could learn to do now is to be all in. And that is extremely difficult. I think that's why meditating, although it's become immensely popular, is also really difficult. It's like one of the most difficult things that anybody in 2018 would ever have to do, which is to shut everything out and only think about one thing, whether that thing is your breath or whatever it is. But the benefit of it is it actually teaches the mind to refocus, because one of the inherent drawbacks of the information age is the fact that our attention spans have been completely wrecked. And the way that that manifests in our life is it makes us less effective when we do our work. We're not able to go into flow state as easily. We're not able to do deep work, but we're not able to stay focused on something long enough to think through how we would actually think about that thing. And then on top of that, when we're actually doing work, whether it's in our 9 to 5 or whether you're an entrepreneur or whether you're at the gym, the amount of time in the day isn't actually that relevant. What is relevant, what's going to make you a higher performer in your life, is your ability to focus on something and to do that thing to the best of your ability and do it well. And it's kind of cliche. It's like that idea that how you do one thing is how you do all things. But what I've come to realize in my own life is that is actually really true. That's a cliche because it's completely true. When I was in the military and I was running my business on the side, I found myself slipping into this sort of lazy way of being where I would care a lot about my business, but in the military you sort of get paid every 2 weeks and there's a lot of opportunity to slack off. And I'm wondering if you think about your own life, whether you've taken advantages of some of those opportunities to slack off. And maybe it's for a good reason, right? Maybe you're not getting paid what you're worth, or maybe whatever the reason is. But I would say that that's a symptom of a bigger problem, which is, you need to start working on things that you really feel drawn to and that you feel intrinsically motivated to do, because it's going to make your work better and it's going to make you want to try harder. But one thing I realized with my own experience is, once I just decided, I shouldn't accept this for myself and I need to be a high performer in every single area of my life, that's exactly what happened. So when I would go to the military and I would try really hard to do a really good job at whatever task I was given, what I found is when I went over to do things within my business or in my personal life or at the gym, that same ability to focus carried over. And at this point in 2018, I would say that your ability to focus on any one thing is the thing that is going to set you apart at that thing. And so so it really doesn't matter whether we're talking about the gym or we're talking about your 9 to 5. What matters is, are you able to be all in the present moment? And are you able to be effective in that moment because you're not thinking about all of these other things? one of the things that I do when I am stuck, when I'm doing something really like in deep thought, when I'm trying to craft an episode or I'm writing, when I get stuck or I get to a ticking point, one of the things that I do is I pacify myself by picking up my phone and scrolling through Instagram. Or I pacify myself by thinking about something else, thinking about the future. And I do it implicitly. I almost have to catch myself to go back to be like, why did you need to focus on this thing. And so the reason I'm bringing this up to you is if you think about your day, think about the things that you are doing. If you've decided to do something, then let that be worthy of your attention. Otherwise, don't do it. And that's it can be hard to root through your life and think about all of these different areas. But if you've decided that it's worthy of your time and attention, then it's certainly worth doing well. Because what happens is all of the different things that we do, they become a representation of who we are. And when you talk about what other people think about you and authoring your life, well, what do the things that you're doing and how well you do them say about who you are? I think if you can set the standard for your work when you go through your life and you look back on it, you'll have nothing to be dissatisfied about if you were in the moment and doing your best at every single task that you had been given. And also, I think that the compound effect of being all in over a super long period of time is really important as well, because when you become really effective in different areas of your life, and then you do that and you replicate that effectiveness and success over long periods of time, I mean, in 6 months to a year, you're looking at a completely different kind of life. My question for you today would be like, what are the things that you're taking on that you're not currently all in? And then I would say when you think about those things, you should either A, get rid of them, or B, go all in on them. When there's an in-between and we become apathetic about the things that we do, that sort of transcends into the rest of our life, and we become apathetic about the rest of our lives. And that's one of the things that can contribute to us feeling less connected and feeling less meaning in our work. And so I would say if it's worthy of being on your schedule, then it's worthy of being focused on. And if it's not, then just get rid of it. And hopefully this helps. Hopefully this gives you a point of reflection to think about some of the areas of your life that maybe you could apply and do a little better. And then think about how that would affect the rest of your life going forward. And then if you find that you have something that's on your calendar that you're not willing to be all in on, then I think it's time that you start taking steps to figure out how to get rid of that thing or pivot away from that thing. I hope you guys have a great hump day. I'll talk to you tomorrow on Lionheart Radio.